The reason I chose morality, politics and the good life was because I believe the one most important thing any individual should think about in their life is what is justice.
It starts off with 3 months, 4 months maybe, reading one book that's 2,500 years old. But Plato's Republic, as boring as it might sound for 4 months, is one of the most interesting books you will ever read.
We start off by reading Plato's Republic from cover to cover, and then we also read at the same time a critique of Plato's Republic written by Karl Popper, The Open Society and Its Enemies. So that's sort of the foundation of the MPGL course. And we also engage with contemporary theories of social justice. So the question really is, as Michael Sandel writes, justice, what's the right thing to do? And the challenge one faces when thinking about social justice is whether or not there's actually an answer to the challenge posed by the character Thrasymachos in the Republic, or I think maybe he's pronounced Thrasymachos, as my Cypriot PhD student told me, as to whether or not there's an answer to the challenge posed by him, which is that justice is simply what is in the interest of the stronger.
I came to the open day here and I heard how it's done interdisciplinary and linear, so not just modules that aren't linked to one another, and how it's a thing you start learning with the same group in second year. Basically everything you end up learning in first year, everything after builds onto that, and that really appealed to me. The other thing that really appealed to me here was the way seminars were described and the open day, and that's how they work as well.
I think the one most important specific thing about this university and about this university course is that it's graded not only on essays and not only on your ability to write, but also your ability to talk. 50% of our marks in first and second year come from seminars alone. And I believe that's fundamental, being able to discuss with a colleague or sometimes an opponent in seminar.
You don't just learn about the topics, but you also learn how to kind of speak in a group, how to refer to people, how to deal with group dynamics of people who would naturally be a bit more dominant, some people who would be a bit more quiet. You learn to accommodate for all those things as well, so it gives you a lot of social skills.
We live in a society where we all relate to one another, where whatever we do, we have to assume each other's existence, where we have to cooperate, where we depend on one another, and these are global social processes. The clothes I'm currently wearing have probably been produced in sweatshops in Bangladesh under horrible working conditions. There's possibly child labor involved. There's certainly child labor involved in producing my mobile phone, or whenever I eat chocolate or drink a cup of coffee. MPGL is supposed to encourage people to actually reflect on these global social connections and the processes and structures within which we are connected in the world to other human beings. And it then asks the normative question as to whether or not current global structures and processes are actually just or justifiable. And very often, on reflection, students tend to give a negative answer to that question, partly because we live in a radically unequal world, which is something the final term on the ethics and politics of the global society focuses on. And it's not just that the global society is radically unequal, it is becoming ever more unequal. And these are the kinds of questions we tackle in MPGL, trying to think about them as critically as we can.